Hi guys, this is going to be a review for chapter 10. I did take some of the problems out of chapter 10 because there were a couple lessons that we didn't do. When I give you the practice, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do this one first, and then I'm gonna assign you a practice one on Think Central, and then I will assign you the actual test on Think Central. And so it's going to be missing a few problems, the dimensions and stuff, because we didn't do 10.8, I believe is the one that I skipped. Okay, so first things first, let's get started. If you got a calculator, all the better, because I'll even be using the calculator at times just to kind of get through the problems a little bit quicker. So we're doing area of the parallelogram. So you have all the formulas for the different shapes. So parallelogram is base times height. You'll notice there's 3 numbers here, and you don't need this one because that one doesn't give you the actual height. The 7.5 inside gives you the actual height straight up and down. So let's do this. We're going to do 7.5 times 9. This one I will do without a calculator. So we're going to get 45. And then we're going to 9 times 7, 63, and you're going to add that, so 67. Don't forget you have a decimal. You got to move it once. So your answer is 67 and 5/10. Okay. Next one is a rectangle that has been cut in half, and it makes 2 congruent triangles. So it says here a wall tile is 2 different colors. What's the area of the white part of the tile? Explain how you found your answer. So the way you're going to find that answer is you're going to half your area of the rectangle. So the first thing you're going to do, and now remember rectangles are, so if we're doing rectangles, we're doing length times width. So we're going to do 5 and 5/10 times 4. And we're going to get 22. So the whole thing is 22. Now you're going to half it, and it says explain how you got your answer. Well, when you half the rectangle, it gives you 2 congruent triangles. And so when you half 22, you're going to get 11, we're doing inches, so 11 inches squared. Okay, so I've done one like this, number 3. It might have been in the lesson on triangles, maybe like 10.2, 10.3, something like that. So you're checking these to see if they give you the area of 36. So you're looking for the area of 36. So you're going to say yes or no. Yes, it will give me 36, or no, it won't. Now you have to use the formula 1/2 times base times height. You can't just multiply these 2 numbers. You cannot just multiply the base and the height and say that's your answer. You have to remember to half, and that gets forgotten a lot. So make sure you half. So right away, I already know 3a will not work because 3 times 12 is 36. And then you still have to half it, and you're going to get 18. So this is a big no. Now 3 times 24 is 72. And then when you half it and divide by 2, you're going to get 36. So this is a yes. And then 4 times 18 is just another. So you're going to get 72, divide by 2, and you're going to get 36. And then the last one, 4 times 9, you're going to get 36, divide by 2, and you're going to get 18. So that one's a no. Okay, so now on this next one, he has a trapezoid, and so he traces that trapezoid, and then he flips it and puts it upside down, and he makes it a rectangle. So then the question's asking you, what is the area of the rectangle? So again, remember you got to add up those 2 numbers. So this is my width, 8, and then I'm going to add these 2 up, and I'm going to get 14 for my length. So the area of the rectangle, remember it's length times width. So you're going to do 14 times 8, and you're going to get 112 inches squared. Okay, so now this next one, we want to find where it has the area of 24. So it can't be 6 times 4. It will not work, and let me show you why. So here's the formula, 1/2 times 6 times 4. So remember, this is 24, and then you have to half it, divide it by 2, and you're going to get 12. So 6 times 4 is not your answer. It's got to be double this, because then you're going to half it. So think about when you double 24, you get 48. So 48 is actually what we're looking for. Well, I know that 6 times 8 gives me 48. So watch, when I plug it into the formula and how it works. I'm going to erase this real quick. Okay. So then it's going to be 1/2 times, my base is going to be 8, my height is going to be 6. So this gives me 48, and then you still have to half it. So you're going to divide 48 by 2, and you're going to get 24. So then that means 8 is my base, and 6 is going to be my height. And 8 should be down here, because you'll notice clearly that this is the longer side, that the base is longer than the height. Okay, now the next one we're doing area of a rectangle. It wants to know what the area of the bookmark is. Use the diagram of the bookmark to complete the table. So it's asking you square inches of the plastic bookmark. That means that we're going to have to take away that triangle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do length times width for the area of the rectangle. So that's going to be 5 times 2, and that's going to give me 10. Okay, so 10 is my answer for the rectangle. Then I'm going to do the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 times 1 times 1. Okay, so think about it. Multiply those two together and you get 1. So then 1/2 times 1. Still going to give you 1/2, or it's going to give you 5/10. Okay, now you're going to subtract these two, because you have to take away that white triangle, because you're only trying to give me the area of the bookmark, and the bookmark is missing that triangle in there. It's a hole. So you're going to subtract these two. So think about it. You're taking 1/2 away from 10. So that's going to be 9 5/10 inches squared, or you can even say 9.5 inches squared, but you know how picky Think Central is. So I would probably go with the decimal. Okay, so now we're going to use the formula for a trapezoid. So that's going to be area equals 1/2 times my bases. So I have my base 1 plus base 2 times my height. Now, so for this one, we actually have to find the height, because it says what is the height. So the trapezoid, the actual area is 32. So you're going to plug that in where you have the A for area. 32 equals 1/2 times, okay, and then you have your two bases. You have 6 and 6.8. So right away I'm going to add a decimal to my 6, decimal and a 0, plus 6.8 times your height. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to add these two together. Well, 6 plus 6 should be pretty easy, 12, and then just add that 0.8 at the end. So this is going to be 1/2 times 12.8. So I'm going to go ahead and put that over 1. So this gives me 12.8 over 2. Now I need to simplify this. So I'm just going to divide both top and bottom by 2. So I need to figure out 2 into 12.8. So it's going to go in 6 times. It should be 6.4. Don't forget to bring that decimal up. Okay, so it's going to be 6.4. So now this is what it's going to look like, because this gives me 6.4. Okay, so now it's going to be 32 equals 6.4 times h. So this is a multiplication equation, which means that we need to use division to solve it, since it's a multiplication equation. So that means I want to divide both sides by 6.4. So this cancels out, because the goal is to get that h by itself. So then what I'm doing is I'm dividing 6.4 into 32, but you're going to notice you can't really do that yet, because you have a decimal out here that you need to get rid of. So you're going to add a decimal here inside the division box. So you got to move that one once, which means you got to move that one once. So then it's really going to be 64 into 320. Something tells me it goes in nice and evenly. Goes in 5 times, and that's going to give me 320. So that's my answer for my height. My height is 5. Okay, let's look at 10. I'm going to use a different color here because I have so much written already. So 10, a pillow is in the shape of a rectangular pentagon. So remember, a pentagon has 5 sides. So it's going to look like this. Well, it could look like a house. Okay, but actually that's not a good one. That's not a good example. My pentagon's going to look really bad. I can tell you that right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, that looks really bad, but anyways. Let's not judge my drawing. Okay, so the front of the pillow is made from 5 pieces of fabric because it's a pentagon. So we're looking at 5 triangles here. Each triangle has an area of 22. So what is the area of the front of the pillow? So that means this is 22, 22, 22, 22, 22. Okay, do I really want to add that 5 times? Not particularly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 22 and I'm going to go times 5. So that's going to be 10. I'm going to carry that 1. So it's going to be 110. So the area is going to be 110 inches squared. All right. Now the nice thing on this next one is you really actually technically don't have to find the area. You just have to use the formula. So remember, the formula is 1/2 times your base 1 plus base 2 times your height. And these are your bases here. Base, height. So you're going to plug everything in. So it's going to look like this. 1/2 times, now take your 2 bases, so like it doesn't really matter which one you put first. 4.5 plus 2 times your height, which is 5. Now go find that. And that is going to be B. Okay, so this one is B. All I did, it doesn't matter which way you write 4.5 and 2. Now, simplify this a little bit. So I'm going to actually add a decimal and a 0 on that too. So if I simplify this, okay, so this can actually be 6.5. Now, do you see that? You do, because it's D. Another thing you could have looked at is, see, the height is 5, so the height goes at the end, and look what they put on the end of these two. This should have been 5. So right away, you should have been able to eliminate A and C. Okay, so now the first thing it wants you to do is it wants you to name the polygon. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8, so that would be a stop sign. So that would be an octagon. Okay, now it wants you to find the area of the octagon. So remember how would you do that? The first thing you have to do is you have to find the area of the actual triangle. So we're going to use the formula 1/2 times base times height. So you're going to go 6.2 times 5. So 6.2 times 5. And then we're going to half it. And so that would be 10, carry the 1, so that would be 31. Don't forget you have a decimal there. Okay, so it's 31. And then you have 8 triangles here total. You want to draw it out, you can, or not. So then you're going to take this times 8. Okay, so then the area is 248 inches squared. Okay, here's a composite figure. Composite figures can be a little overwhelming because it's a bunch of shapes all shoved together, and then you have to find the area of the whole thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at the rectangle here. Okay, so I already have the width. It's 7. So I have to find the length. Well, okay, the length is all of this right here. So this part is 14 and this part is 10. So then that means I need to add those two together. So 14 and 10 is going to be, just put my eraser on, sorry, it's going to be 24. So I already know that this is going to be 7 times 24. Okay, then I need to find the area of the, you know what, I'm going to be kind of moving around different colors. I have to find the area of this rectangle here. So that's going to be 12 times 14. Okay, then using a different color, I also have to find the area of this upside down triangle. So the base is 10. The height is this 12 right here. So it's going to be 1/2 times 12 times 10. Okay, so now we don't actually have to solve the whole thing. We can, let's figure this out. So it's going to look kind of long. It's going to be 7 times 24 plus 12 times 14 plus 1/2 times 12 times 10. Notice, very important, you notice I have pluses here separating. This is one shape, another shape, the last shape. Actually, I'm going to go back to red now. Okay, so do you see that anywhere? You should. You should see it right here. Look, here's my 7 times 24. Here's my 12 times 14, and here's my 1/2 times 10 times 12. So this is a possible answer. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to start simplifying these sections. So like figure out what is 7 times 24. And this is where a calculator would come in handy right now. So we're going to do 7 times 24, and that's going to be 168. Then I need you to do 12 times 14, and that's going to also be 168. And then I'm going to figure out this 1/2 times 12 times 10. What I could do here is I could actually simplify the 2 and the 12. Okay, and so this is going to be 60. Okay, so now you're going to notice, look at B. So B has the 168, and then look, you'll notice it's got the 12 times 4. Okay, so it kept that, and then it's got the 60. Okay, so B is another possible answer. And then, let's see. C. C may be, okay, so here's my triangle. So this is my triangle here. Okay, now the 19 times 24. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to add up 168 and 168. And that's going to give you 336. Okay, so now what I need you to do is I need you to multiply 19 times 24 and see what that gives you. Wait, did I do something wrong? Hold on. Let me go back and check my work really quick. Okay, so sometimes 24 gives me 168, okay, and then 12 times 14 gives me 168, so then 168 plus 168 is 336. Okay, so 19 times 24. I feel like there is a typo here, but I don't think there is. Okay, so now go 19 times 24, and you're going to get 456. And then we already know that this gives us 60. Okay, so what we're going to do is, what I need you to do is I need you to add up 168, 168, and 60. So then add that 60, 24. Okay, so our only two answers should actually be B and C, because, wait, hold on, what do we get? 6, add this up, 9, 396. Okay, so now 456, and I need you to take away 60. Oh no, that gives us 396 too, so C is a possible answer. A cannot be, because 19 times 14 gives me 266, so that doesn't work. The whole entire area of this composite figure is 396 feet squared. Okay, so that one's a little over, it's a struggle for sure. Again, oops, did not mean to do that. Okay, so again, let me just kind of hopefully maybe make this make a little more sense for you. Again, what you have to do is you have to look at each shape, and you have to find the area for each shape. This long line right here is 24, and I know that because this is 14 and 10, and when you add those two together, so you're doing 24 times 7, and that's going to be 168. Then you're going to do, you're going to find the area of this second rectangle, which is 14 times 12, which is also 168. And then you're going to find the area of this triangle, which is going to be 1/2 times 10 times 14, which is going to be 60. Okay, so you have 168 and 168. Which is 336, and then you're going to add the 60 to it, which is 396. Okay, that's the total. So these are the ones, B, C, and D, that will give you that answer. This one is what I just did right here. It takes each of these, okay, and adds them up. Okay, and then this one, they kind of simplified some stuff. They simplified, here's the one triangle, here's the, this was 7 times 24, okay, and when we add all of it up, it's going to give us 396. This one's going to give us 396. And then, as tricky as this one looks, and you want to automatically assume it's not going to work, but don't do that. Double check yourself. You go through and check. You got a calculator, so it's going to save you a little bit of time. But when you figure this out, the 456, and then you take the 60 away, it's going to give you 396 as well. Okay. The next one. All right, nice little break. We get to do a little bit of graphing. Ava wants to draw a parallelogram on the coordinate plane. She plots 3 of the points. Okay, so you've got a not label. You need to count. So the distance between H and I is 2. So then that means that the distance between J and K also has to be 2. So you're going to go 1, 2. Okay, and then you can draw it. So what is the length of JK, and how do you know this? Well, this is 2. Okay, so then this also has to be 2. The distance between H and I also has to be 2. So you're just going to count 2 from J. And therefore, what is K going to be? K is going to be, you're going to go over 2 and up 1. So K is going to be over 2, up 1. Because these two sides are parallel, they're congruent, they're the same. Okay, 17. Suppose the point, okay, so right now we're at 3 over, so you're over 3 up 2. Okay, so this is the one they're referring to. So this is my over 3 up 2. So it's changed to over 3 up 1 on this rectangle. What other point must be changed so the figure remains a rectangle? Okay, so if you go over 3 and up 1, you know what? Let me use a different color than red. Okay, so if we go over 3 up 1, so this is going to be my over 3 up 1. All the sides, the opposite sides are parallel here. So then that means I'm going to, I need to adjust this one over here too. So I'm going to go over -2 and then I'm going to go up 1. So point, did they, I feel like they, oh, okay. So -2, up 2, okay. This point right here is the one that has to change. Okay, this is the point that has to change. So that's why I'm going to say point -2 and 2 would change to -2 and 1. Okay, so this point right here will change to this, so that when I do my, it still is a rectangle. The new area of the rectangle is blank. So in other words, you're counting up how many squares are inside the new rectangle. So 1, 2, 3. So this side is 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this side is 5. So the new area is 15 square units. So you have 5, 5, so 5, 10, 15. There's 15 squares inside that new one. So you are no longer counting that. So this is going to be 15 square units. Now, on a positive note, we're almost done. We just have a couple more problems. Okay, 18. Look at the figure below. Oops. Okay, so look at the figure below. The area of the parallelogram and the areas of the two congruent triangles formed by a diagonal are related. If you know the area of the parallelogram, how can you find the area of one of the triangles? If you know the area, okay, so in other words, if you know the area of the parallelogram, and if you know how to spell parallelogram, that's even better. Then you half the area to get the area of one of the triangles. There you go. You just have to, whatever the base height is, you got to half it, because once you half the parallelogram, it gives you two congruent triangles. Okay, so we're doing another parallelogram. The roof of Camden's house is shaped like a parallelogram. The base of the roof is 13, and the area is 110 and 5/10. So again, remember, what's the formula? Area equals base times height. So you have 13. You don't know the height, but you do know the area. It's 110 and 5/10. So right now, the way it's set up, you have a multiplication equation. So you need to do the opposite of multiplication, which means you're going to divide both sides by 13. Okay, so right away I can already tell you those two are not possible answers. So my answer is either 17 or 8.5. So now you're going to divide 13 into 110 and 5/10. It's probably going to be 8.5. Because that's going to give me 4. Yeah, it's going to be 8.5. And 8, 24, so that's 10, and then subtract 6, so 65. So yeah, it's going to be 8.5. So it's 8.5, and again, you're doing area. So the trick here is it's got to be meters squared. No, I'm sorry. Ooh, gosh. So sorry. We're not doing area. We're doing the height. So the height is just meters. Because remember, they gave you the area already, and the area is what's squared. The height is not. It's just meters. Sorry about that. All right, last one. Okay, so Lena's drawing a figure on the coordinate grid. So we have to put true or false. The point -1 and 1 would be in the fourth vertex of a square. So we're doing, so we're going over -1, and then we're going up 1. The point would be the fourth vertex of a square. The point would be the fourth vertex of a... Oh, okay. So, in other words, sorry. Okay, so you're trying to make a square. So now you have to plot that. So if you plot... Let me erase that. I made this problem way harder than it was. It's actually really quite simple. So all you're going to do is you're just going to plot that. So you plot it, here it is. Now, if I play connect the dots, do I get a square? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, does it make a square? No, doesn't make a square. Okay, so now I'm going to erase that. Let's go to the next one. The point 1 and 1 would be the fourth vertex of a trapezoid. Okay, so I'm going to plot this, and I'm going to look and see if it actually makes a trapezoid when I connect all the dots. So I'm going to go over 1, and then I'm going to go up 1. Oops, I still have my eraser on, sorry. Okay, so over 1, up 1. Okay, it's close. I will say it's definitely close, but it doesn't make a trapezoid, so this one's false. Okay, let me erase that. All right, the point, okay, so I need you to plot 2 and -1. So you're going to go over 2, and then you're going to go down -1. Okay, now, does this make a trapezoid? So when you connect all the dots, does it make a trapezoid? Now that is a trapezoid. So yes, true. Okay, the last one. You're going to do the points -1, -1, and you're going to tell me if that makes a square. So you're going to go over -1 and down -1. So then if I connect all the dots and all the sides have 3, and that does make a square. So that one is true. And that is the, and that's it. So hopefully that kind of helps. You can go back, replay it, pause, whatnot, and then use this to help you do the practice on Think Central. So first, remember, these are the steps. First, I'm giving you the to listen. Listen to this one, watch me go through and work out the problems. Then I'm going to give you a practice test in Think Central. So do the practice test. And then the last thing you should do is do the actual test. But only after you've already gone through and listened to this, done a practice test. Okay, and good luck. And from here, we're going to move on to chapter 12. We're going to skip 11, and we're going to do some problems, some of the lessons in chapter 12.